Hi there, this is Bonnie. Listen, welcome to my Tucker Hill Home Kitchen. Are you looking to elevate your pizza night? If you are, well, I have the perfect recipe for you. I'm going to show you how I make my roasted duck pizza. You're going to need 1 pizza dough, and now I put this on top of a piece of parchment that has been dusted with flour, and I normally will let it sit for about 5 minutes because it's a lot easier to work with because the elasticity has relaxed a bit, and it makes it a lot easier for you to roll it out. You're also going to need roast duck, and I have 1/2 roast duck here, and I normally pick this up from Costco. It's already done and it works beautifully. Now, I also, depending on how much time I have, I may also decide to roast a fresh duck in the oven and use some of the leftover duck from that to make pizza. You're also going to need dried figs, mozzarella cheese, not mozzarella, you're going to need Gruyère cheese, as well as Parmesan Reggiano. You're going to need an onion that's going to be caramelized, garlic. You're going to need about 3 or 4 cloves, or if you're using the elephant garlic like I am here, maybe 2.5 cloves. In addition to that, you're going to need olive oil because you're going to be sauteing all of these ingredients off on top of the stove. And I also add a little bit of smoked paprika, which gives it a nice rich flavor. In addition to that, I love heat, so I'm going to add some pepper flakes. And to the mixture, I'm going to also add some fig jam, a little black pepper, and that's pretty much it. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and get the onions chopped, and as well as my garlic. I'm going to begin by peeling my onion, as you see me doing here. Once I get this chopped up, then I'm going to chop up the garlic and add the two together because this is going to go right into my saute pan. So that I can go ahead and... Now the idea is with the onion is you're going to want to caramelize it a little bit because it releases the sweetness. And talking about onions, this is a sweet onion, and one of my favorite varieties of sweet onion is Vidalia onions because they have a nice subtle sweetness to them, and they also don't make you cry as much. So I'm going to go ahead and chop this onion and get this ready to go into saute pan. I'll get all of the ingredients chopped off here and we'll move over to the stove in order to begin the process. Now I have the onion chopped, and then we're going to go ahead and chop up the garlic. And then after you do that, we're going to go ahead and chop up the figs. Now these dried figs are so good because once you add them and begin to cook them, they do soften up quite a bit. But they're very convenient. And sometimes I will also add fresh figs, which I do have growing on my farm right now. Some of them are not quite ripe, and I did eat some the other day because, for transparency, we actually had roast duck pizza earlier in the week. And I'm crying a little bit, but that's okay because these onions are a little bit, you know what onions do to you, right? And we're going to add this with some olive oil to our saucepan, and we're going to be able to do that in just a moment. This pizza is so good, and you know, if you really want to make it a nice treat, you can serve this with some prosecco and make it real fancy. And sometimes I will also, for the greens, I will throw some arugula on top of it so that I'm getting a balanced meal. So I'll throw some arugula, and you got your greens, you got your protein, you got everything you need. But most important, you have something that tastes real good. Okay, and so the last thing I will do is I'll go ahead and cut take my duck, remove it from the bone. And again, these are fairly easy to work with because they've taken out most of the bone. It's really easy to work with. So I take it off the bone like you see me doing here. I love roast duck. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I don't eat chicken, but roast duck, oh my goodness. It's one of my favorite proteins to eat. It has such a, I don't know, the flavor is just very, very different, and I like the way it tastes. And go ahead and get this off the bone. And once you do that, once you take it off of the bone, you can now just chop it up, because this is going to go in the mixture that I'm going to be doing in my saucepan. Because again, this is going to be a topping for the pizza. Now, that skin that's on the duck, it's not the healthiest thing, and since you're not going to do this all the time, it's okay. It also adds a nice, because it gets a little bit crispy when you put it on the pizza and you're baking it off. It adds a nice element. The texture is so good. So now we have everything all chopped, and we are ready to go to the stove and saute this off and get this pizza ready. Okay, we're going to add a generous amount of olive oil. You can also add avocado oil, but I prefer the olive oil for this. And to that, you're going to now add your onions and your garlic. Go ahead and add that to the pan. Now you want to cook this onion to the point of where it caramelizes. So make sure your heat is up enough on your pan so that you can do that. Go ahead and move this over. And it'll take about maybe 5 minutes. So I'm not going to go that long. I basically want to give you an idea of how you go about making this. We're going to caramelize these onions and garlic. And again, make sure your heat is up high enough so that it caramelizes nicely. I love this recipe so much, and my husband, he always gets tickled when he knows I'm getting ready to make duck. It's one of our favorite meals. I do a duck confit, which we'll talk about, and maybe I'll do a demo or a video on how to do that at a later date. Today we are making pizza. And once you have that done, you're then going to go ahead and add and what I'll do is I pulled it off to the side a little bit, push the onions off to the side so that I have room on the other side so they can continue to cook. And I'm going to add my figs and give those a nice little saute as well. But this is such an easy recipe to make, but it is, when I say elevated, it is definitely for the sophisticated palate. And this is like grown folks pizza. You know, the kids, they want all the pizza sauce and all of that, but if you want grown folks pizza, this is your girl here. Now, once you saute the figs a little bit, you can now take them and incorporate them along with the onions. You can see I'm doing there. Just go ahead and mix them all together. And keep in mind, this is going to cook additionally once you put your pizza in the oven. So it's not a terrible thing if it has not cooked as much as you'd like to. And then finally, I'm going to add my duck. You're basically adding everything into your saucepan, and you're going to saute that off. And this is where the fun happens. You are now going to add your fig jam. This gives it a nice sweet, additional sweet flavor without overpowering it too much. And then to that, we're going to add your smoked paprika. And that's about a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And you're also going to add your heat. Now, depending on how hot you like it, you add a little bit or you add a lot, or you don't have to add it at all if you are one of those people who does not like heat. But I'm a spice girl. I love things that are nice and spicy and hot. And you have pretty much, you can also add a little bit of black pepper. You can add a little bit of that too, because again, I love heat. And once you do that, your topping is pretty much ready. So after you finish doing this, you want to just let this set off to the side a little bit to cool. You don't want to put it hot on top of your pizza dough. And that is pretty much it. Now, see how easy that was? So next we're going to go ahead and assemble the pizza and get it in the oven. So to assemble the pizza, you're going to want to go ahead and roll out your pizza dough like I'm doing here. And once you rolled it out, and I like a nice thin crust. And those of you who want to get the recipe for my pizza dough, it's here on my channel. So you can get all of the instructions on how to make a wonderful pizza dough, one that your local pizza parlor would be very proud of. So anyway, I rolled that out, and what I'm going to do now is just put just a little bit of olive oil because I don't want this to dry out. And again, I like a nice thin crust, one that has a little bit of crunch to it. So if you take this olive oil and you put it all around the edges, because you're going to have other stuff in the center, this is going to keep this crust and give you the consistency that you're looking for. Put a little bit more. But again, this is such it's a grown-up pizza. I don't know how else to put it. But it's really easy to make. All you need to do is make sure you have all of your ingredients on hand. And one of the things I would encourage you to do is think about other things that you could add. For instance, you could add some dates to this, or just kind of let your imagination run wild with you. If you can imagine it, if you follow a few basic principles in making this pizza, it should come out just fine. You can add different kinds of cheeses. For instance, if you don't like the Gruyère, I like the Gruyère or the fontina because they have a nice melting quality to them. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add all of this deliciousness. This is going to be so yummy. So it has a little bit of steam. It's not piping hot, but look at that. Doesn't it look amazing? Look at that. Oh gosh. I love this pizza so much. And again, it only takes, once you get everything assembled the way I have it here, it'll take you 8 to 10 minutes in a preheated 400. I would recommend you do a very hot oven, so 450, so that the pizza does what you want it to do. Once you spread all of that deliciousness over the top of the dough, then the very last thing you're going to do is add your cheese. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm telling you, you're going to love this pizza. And if you want to impress your hubby or your friends, well, look at that piece of garlic there. We're going to leave that just like it is. I didn't cut that one up, and you know what? It's fine because it will roast up without any problems. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my Gruyère cheese to the top of this and follow it up. You don't need a lot of cheese because the idea is you just want a little bit of melting to happen, just to give it another note. This is not a cheese pizza, it's a duck pizza. So you don't want to put too much cheese on it. And I'm putting on the Parmigiano Reggiano, and it's pretty much done. So what I'm going to do now is take my pizza peel and slide this onto the peel, and then we're going to put it in the oven and bake for about anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, or until it gets nice and crispy and brown around the edges. And once you're done with that, pull it out and you're good to go. So I'm going to come back in a moment to let you see what it looks like. And here you have it, roast duck pizza. Listen, for additional recipes, you can also pick up my cookbook, Farm Girl in the City, Food and Love. And it's available on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or you can also find it on my website, tuckerhillhome.com. And listen, remember to hit the subscribe button so that you stay connected, because we have so much wonderful content that's coming of good recipes and gardening inspiration, and you don't want to miss a thing. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.